Hey everybody, I'm just kind of getting going here, running a little late, but we're checking it out. And so I thought I'd just do a sound check here. It sounds like that's working. Give a little time for people to get on here. So anyway, I've been really busy this week. Thought I'd just share some of that. I'll share what's going on. I'm going to share what I had to do for a client, and it's going to come into some of this information here. In the meantime, while people give time for the stream to get to going, I am trying to get Buzz going. Should probably move that over there, but I wonder how everybody's been doing. I guess I waited too long. Anyway, I'll try this again. That happened, I guess. I must have just missed it. See if that goes. And if not, we'll wait and I'll get to going here. How? Oh, I see. You ever feel like you don't read instructions? There we go. Much better. Better. All right. That should have took. Anyway. All right, I'm about to get going here. All right, good enough. I think I'm gonna just minimize that for a whole nother deal. Okay, I'm just gonna get started here. All right, welcome to Love Yourself Up. I am your host, John Budd. So I'm going to tie this into what I've been doing this week, and really, I had to work on a client's computer, their phone, and tablet, and I thought this was worthwhile warning material to share, and maybe even how to fix your Android device. What happened was, in short, somebody got a hold of their bank account number and got access to the bank account through their phone and started changing their banking password. Their bank locked down their devices or their account. The bank required them to reset their devices. And so they reached out to me, and I was talking with the bank and a little bit to understand their requirements. Because if you just would do a basic standard wipe your phone and then you restore your account on the backup, you could be reinstalling that bad malware, all the credentials and keys that somebody else had installed. So it's a little more detailed than that. And I think it's real important because as I just kind of threw into AI, I did some tweaks here. I'm gonna go through some of these slides, but I thought it was interesting that this is the data from 2026, just different cyber crimes. I pulled together some links and had OneNote put this together. So I think it's worthwhile in sharing that. If you just look at the number of complaints on financial losses, so this is so it's up 400% since 2020, and it's up 26% since 2024. So there's tons of complaints, and who knows who don't complain either. And I just think that this one slide here, they really talk about the type of losses are the direct wire transfers, extortion, and stolen crypto. And then the other stuff is, your downtime and stuff like that. But I'm really focusing on individuals here, not businesses. So I wanted to get to this one slide. This talks about different ways things are compromised, and one is business email. But let me tell you, your personal email can be a point of entry as well. So they'll watch out for fraudulent investments. But the other one is spoofing and phishing. They're tricky. But this is the slide I want to show that look how much, if you're over 60, look how much more the losses are. So the total losses for over 60 is $7.7 billion. And that's unreal if you think about it. Yeah, we're at 37% year over year, it's up. So if you're over 60, you're over 59. If you're over 50 to 60, you are definitely at a higher target risk. Why is that? Well, for the age, most people over that age are not real tech savvy. I know some people that are, but I think it's easy to fool people. I think it's even easy to fool 90% of the people, unless you're really into technology and know what to look for. They're always changing their game. But I think also most people this age bracket are retired, have 401ks, have retirement plans, they have some nest eggs. So that's why they are a higher risk target. So I don't think there's much else in this slide that I really cared to go through. I'll just go through it, and if you can stop it and read it if you want. I really was just wanting to share that, so to speak. Let's see what else here. Yeah, I thought this was interesting. So, one of the vectors or ways they get it, it's just lowered the scale. I'm sure if you're online very much at all, some of these memes are AI generated. So that means it's easier to do deep fakes of my voice, your voice. They do voice cloning. They get your information. And let me tell you, there's some critical things that we need to follow. But one of them is, and I may do a separate video on this, is set up two-factor authentication. It's so important. All your bank accounts must have, and not just banks, but all your bill payment processing bank accounts should have two-factor authentication. And what that means is when you log in, you either going to get an email, text message, or another key you put in. That's kind of the simple, I'm trying to keep this in real, not fancy terms, but there's some ways you can do this. And I want to tell you, if you need help, be sure to reach out, because I don't want to see you taken advantage of. So yeah, a lot of these people are targeting, their bank accounts is what this means. So kind of what this is looking at, and I want to tell you, sometimes it doesn't have to just be malware. It's that you give your bank account out, and I'm going to stress this 2 or 3 times. Do not give your passwords out. Make sure you have strong passwords. That could be its own show alone, but don't give your passwords out. They don't. Your bank and bill payment processing and all that, they don't need it. They do not need your password. Anybody that calls and wants your password, just hang up. I would even say, if you don't know me personally, we're talking on the phone about your accounts, don't give me your passwords. There's a few clients that are out of state. I'd work up some special processes for us to share our passwords, because I don't want that leaked out as well. And so work that out with the people you're working with. And listen, it's inconvenient, but it's the way it has to be. What we've done with computers, we want them so easy to use, but then we start sacrificing security. And it's nice to know that we can go in and out our doors and not lock them, so to speak, right? But, gone are the days that you don't have to lock your doors. I think you have to look at your bank account and your computer like that. And I want to stress this to you while we're just talking here. If you use your bank account, don't use your web browser on your phone. Use your banking app. That doesn't make it foolproof, but it definitely narrows that funnel down and reduces risk for information getting leaked out. At the time of this, making this video, I heard, and I haven't checked on this because I was focusing on other things today, but I heard that there was another huge password breach. So, I'm going to tell you, go get a good password manager. I think, I would recommend a Bitwarden. And I'm going to tell you that your in-browser passwords, I don't know if I trust them. I know they put them there for being easy to use. Anything I have stored in those passwords I don't care about really. Um, Anything secure, I do not use the browser password for. And this is just talking about the ransomware and the financial risk and the ransomware attack and how it caused basically 10 days of loss. I'm not focusing on that here. Um, what I wanted to do is kind of focus on mostly the biggest threat, which is elderly people. They look at your investment. That's what you see as your primary target. If you got a business, they normally target your financial side of the business. If it's ransomware, they're going after the infrastructure. A lot of times the attack vector is social engineering or email, or they'll act like they're somebody they're not. It's sad, and as much as I like AI, it also makes it easy when you have AI to do it. But let me tell you, in this case that I was working on this week, I think it was an accidental case of them not knowing, and they allowed some people to put some stuff on their phone per se. I don't want to go into too many details. Um, and I feel sorry for people that this happens to. It's really easy for it to happen to. So, like I said, I'm not going to focus on all this. I thought it was interesting, and so I wanted to just walk through this here and share it with you. But I'm not going to walk through every slide here because it was a copy and paste. I put in a couple sources that it was important to me, and I was curious what the AI would pull into it. It's interesting, but this is 80% AI generated for sure. I had some influence on a couple of the slides, and those are the ones I stopped on. And that's the thing about AI. You can give it a good prompt, but that doesn't mean that it's going to do everything like it should do. So right now, I think I'm going to kind of shift this and kind of go into, let me change this slightly here. We'll see how this fits on the screen a little bit better. But this is the main topic that I want you to do. So if you got an Android phone, again, this is for Android. This is not for Apple products. This is only for Android. And this is how to go tell if your phone has been compromised. That's some of the things. This is just kind of a reference guide for you to walk through, look at the settings, and check out the one. And everyone's going to be different. I didn't take the time to set up mine. I do have this Android tablet here, and I didn't take the time to set it up. And they're all a little different. But I am going to walk through this with you, but I'm going to verbally do this. I was looking through it last night, and I know it is different. But you're going to walk through the settings and apps, and then you're going to want to look at the full list of apps. And if you scroll down, I think all of them are labeled apps. For applications. So this is applications and notifications. Oh yeah, and this one here is you got to click on like app info. So, but it's going to be very close to that, where it's going to be apps, and then on this, I don't know what it's just a cheap tablet, but then you're going to click on app info, and then it's going to show all the apps installed. And I want you to scroll through that list and look at any unfamiliar names, apps you didn't remember installing. And I think the one you really got to watch for, and this is on Apple products, I've seen free games that push you to buy points or currency to keep playing. Now, I was looking at some AI video generation just for some fun. They had a guy, you take his picture and then you put in the song and then they'll put it together, make it look like you're singing a song. I thought that would be cute to do and just play with, but and I got in there. Well, the ploy was get you download the software, and then they wanted you to do that feature that they advertised. You had to pay $5 or $6, and most of those get on a recurring theme or payment plan. So my advice to you is be real careful about the games you install and how if they're making you buy things to keep playing the game, I'd be a little leery of that. I know I do some a Duolingo and stuff like that to learn different language. There are some things you can buy in there, but you don't have to. You may have to be done for the day. So there's a balance there. And if you're in doubt, one of the tips, and I don't really have a good way to show that here, is I took a video recording. So I held my phone, my personal phone up, and it could be hard to do, but I got these nice little stands that like this, and then you can put your tablet, so to speak, or phone. This will hold my tablet. And so then I can then record and move the screen up and down. And I found those are kind of nice, or you can wedge it against like a large bottle or something that you don't have open, obviously, but then take a video of it. And then if you give that video, because there was a couple games that I thought was suspicious, and when I put it into an AI, I would put it into a well-known AI, either Anthropic, ChatGPT, Perplexity might be good, or Grok. But you put that video in there, and it scanned those videos, that small video, and looked at all the apps, told me how many apps were installed, and it flagged, I think 5 of them initially. 2 of them I knew what they were. It just didn't know them. So AI is not perfect. But the 3 I narrowed down, when I investigated it, I found out 3 of those were leading apps that they inject malware into the advertisements. So if you'd click on an ad in that, there's a high risk that if you downloaded and installed, something could get installed in the background. So again, look for games that have heavy ad would be a good clue. Now, it doesn't mean they're all bad. It's just a good clue. Then the next thing you want to do is go to settings, apps, and there's 3 dots up at the top. See if I can get back there. Yeah, there's 3 dots up at the very top right-hand corner that could change. And then you're going to click that, and you're going to show you're going to click well, I went too far, didn't I? See, this one is even a little different here because permission manager is not where it says it is here, but permission manager on this tablet is in a little different place. And I would say you get a cheaper device. But anyway, you want to look at SMSs. So on this one, 2 of 4 apps are allowed, and I've got certain apps that are denied. Like on this, I have Perplexity installed on this tablet, and it's denied access to my SMS, so it can't send text messages. And so look at that. What apps are you allowing to send text messages? Should be your phone and messages, and then you might have your Google account and stuff tied to that. That would be your first clue. Those should be good, but other apps I would get real suspicious. Again, you can ask an AI and find out. The next one is go to accessibility services and device admin. Again, it's setting accessibility installed apps. Uh, look for anything that's not familiar. And this is the #1 vector for Android banking Trojans. You want to look for anything that's not familiar there. And so I would say, again, if you find something there, you want to remove it or disable it right away. If you don't know, you need to reach out. Better be safe than sorry. I would say if you did find that on there, and then I would be concerned. You might just go change your bank password. You might see if anything's been changed, and maybe you drive to the actual bank or you call them. You might tell them that you found it. And of course, if you tell them you found it, they might, by their protocols, mandate that you get your device looked at by a professional, and you can decide then what you want to do. So look at those things there. I think the first thing is I wouldn't, never panic. That's fear driven. What we want to do is if you find something in any of these, but especially these, is if you find it, understand what it is. Take a screenshot of it, because if you panicked and turned it off, there's a couple settings in here you would think, we'll get to it down here, you'd think by default, oh, that's bad, but it's actually how you want it. But if anything looks unfamiliar and all this is new to you, again, this is where you can use an AI to help you. And even if you don't understand the settings, you can take a picture and put it in there. So there are some good uses for AI. #4, now this is from my research, is Samsung only. The phones I did work on was Samsung. They had this link to Windows. And check to see if it's actively linked to a computer. If the owner doesn't use this, disable it regardless. Because if it's linked to a computer, then in theory, that means that you could connect to this phone from a computer. It's a Windows worked it out with Samsung to put it in there. There's actually, on the devices I looked at, there was 2, one right above each other. One you could shut off, the other you disable. And if you want to look at the permissions, then what's allowed to. So if you see that, you might need to go dig a little more. Now this one here was the one that, if private DNS or VPN, DNS is when you go to a website, how it goes and finds the internet and translates some of the data. It's more technical than that, but that's the short version. So you want to go to private settings, connections, more connections, and private DNS. It should show automatic or off. If it has a different name in there, like for instance, sometimes you might, or I might, want a computer purposely, because I'm wanting to watch some traffic that the computer's doing. I might purposely make that DNS flag go through another computer that I have and have a logger on that computer and catch some of that. There's some other techniques that you can do there as well. But anyway, if you don't know what that custom host that should be a red flag. You should shut that off, make it off or automatic. Again, if you don't have a VPN, then you shouldn't have any connection in there. But if you would use, I don't even know what there are. Norton probably has a VPN. There's one called Proton VPN, and I think almost all the antiviruses have a VPN setting, and what that does, that they're trying to keep your traffic private. Like if you're on a private, if you go out to McDonald's, or I think Walmart now has Wi-Fi, then your traffic is getting logged through McDonald's or Walmart's servers because they're giving you access. For instance, if you come to my house, you get on my Wi-Fi. I can track everywhere you go on your device on my network. So if you had a VPN, it would make it a little more difficult. Most VPN traffic is VPN stands for virtual private network. So most of that is encrypted from the device to the outgoing server. So it just depends. But if you're not tech savvy, you don't know what a VPN or don't have it set up, you should check that out. So also look at your tabs open on your browser. You know, if you got a large number of tabs open, some of those tabs might have malware injected into them, especially, you know, back in the old days, well, they can still do it. They'll pop up other pages and they kind of load things in the background. And when you click on an ad, it's just like the other one I was telling you about. When you click on the ad, it injects software in there. So I would tell you that, you know, every night, close all your browser tabs, you know. If you're going to a site that, I just realized that's don't know how big that's been like that. I had to zoomed up so everybody could read it. So, okay, maybe that's a little better. Next one is go to settings homepage, look at your search engine. You also might want to look at what your home default homepage is. This is really big on computers back in. People will hijack your homepage, so you use a different homepage, you use a different search engine. It's just they're watching your traffic, remove permissions from unfamiliar sites. So that's what you want to do there. Now this one here I thought was good to kind of just look at. I don't know. I use this, you know, I have a personal phone and work phone. And sometimes if I don't want to carry my work phone with me, I will forward that to my personal phone. And then the person calling me, it automatically goes to my personal phone. Now, if I call them back, they'll know it's on my personal phone, but I think it's good to at least make sure something's not set up by default for this to happen. So that's more just of a general thought there that you might want to use or check. And I think the other one is if you have an Android device, you're using a Google account, you log into Google, and this may change, but you want to log in and see if you have any devices you don't know. So the same thing is true with Apple there. You can log in and see what device is connected. A lot of companies are doing that now. You can also do that. I think some banks are doing that in your software. I would tell you to set up, you know, for Google, if somebody logs in, you can set that up. For example, I have a couple people that I have it so if they log in to their Google account or Gmail from another device, I will get an email. Now, I've got two people I do that for. One's my dad and one's a friend. So, you know, I'm just kind of making sure something doesn't happen. It's not foolproof, but your Google, you should have two-factor authentication set up or a larger thing than just your password. And what else is on here? Okay, so this is just an overview. These are the 8 things that you should check for your phone. You want to screenshot that. That should point you there. Some of these may change with different updates. There's no guarantees that these will always be the same. And it can be device specific as well. That's where I would start if you thought that you had a infection, so to speak, and something going on. So I just wanted to share that with you. I think it's really important that we be more diligent and alert. And I hope that this content was good for you. If you got an Android device, check these links out. If you're worried about somebody maybe has accessed your phone, one of the services I do on the side is, I should say, perform, not do, but is this type of thing. I this is not my bread and butter. I don't like doing this. It can be tedious. It can be frustrating, especially as things change. And it's not fun to do because to do this right, it takes some time. Um, I can tell you that if you take your time and do it right, that you could fly through this in 15, 20 minutes. But if you find one thing wrong, you need to go back and you can easily spend 90 minutes to 2 hours doing it. When I'm doing this for somebody else, I don't want to rush through it and feel like I neglected them when you're providing a service. So treat yourself the same way. Um, like I said, so if you got some comments, you could reach out to me and I'll see the comments to the YouTube video, and then I'd be glad to point you in the right direction. I'm not going to do this stuff for everybody, but I am going to start posting videos like this for stuff I'm doing on the side, so to speak. And I love clearmud.com. I love watching Marcelio. I cannot pronounce his name. I am horrible pronouncing names, but I love watching him and just his passion for using AI. But one thing he says at the end of every video that I love is he's like, I'm not an AI expert. Well, listen, I'm not a tech expert. I'm learning in public. Um, I know how to do some of this stuff because I've been doing it for several years, many years actually. So I'm here to help you. This is the type of stuff I want to put out on my channel. I hope you like it too. Give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. Subscribe if you got this far. Tell me in the comments the type of things you'd like to see. I think the next up in my queue is doing the same thing for an Apple device. I think it's good to maybe monthly go through this and check out your phone and just be responsible. Look at my notes and make sure there's nothing else before I sign out here. Yeah, just one last note. I should interject this. No bank, no phone carrier, Microsoft, Apple's is not going to call you and ask you to install an app or read them a one-time code. If that happens, hang up. Call the number on your credit card. Call the number on your bill. Do not respond, even to text messages. I got a text message. My wife did, I guess, and it looked very legit because we had just, without getting too much details, we had just had this service provided to us. But this company normally always gives us an email or the old mail style. And somebody sent a text. It looked very real. I actually took a snapshot picture and threw that into AI and said, hey, this looks very legit. But to come to find out that phone number had been reported to the Better Business Bureau for fraudulent charges. So I don't know if they somehow leaked information out that we had that done. I don't know. And so just be wary, be suspicious, be vigilant. So thanks for watching this far. Shout out to ClearMud for just being an awesome mentor online. And even though it's more AI, if you want to learn some of the things he's doing, go check out his channel And I think it'll help you not to be so scared of AI if you just watch. It may not be the type of videos you'd want to watch if you are not real tech savvy. But if you want to get into AI, it's definitely a good start to watch. Of course, watch me. I'll share some things. I'm installing Buzz and doing some stuff in the background that may or may not be cool for you. But give me a thumbs up. Share with me the content you like because I want to provide a service for you. God bless you guys. Talk to you later. All right. He's live here for about 40 minutes. I don't know. I don't think anybody showed up, so that's okay too. I know I'm kind of small, and so that's the way it goes. And it's probably not the best time. Recording this when it's good for me. So I think with that, I'm just going to get out of here. All right. God bless, guys. Talk to you later.